Hello everyone, welcome to the QuesterMage and welcome back to another No Man's Sky video for the Nintendo Switch. In today's video I want to talk about the lack of a major update that we've had lately and the fact that patches are still needed for the Nintendo Switch. So if we don't get the update until the end of the year, hopefully we can get some patches and fixes for the game. So please sit back, relax, click like, subscribe, and hopefully enjoy. Here we go. So like I said, it's been a while since we've had an update for Nintendo Switch, the last one being patch 4.4.5 in September. Subsequently, I think we were all under the impression that there would be a Halloween update for Nintendo Switch, but unfortunately that did not happen. And in fact, since then we have actually seen no updates for No Man's Sky on Nintendo Switch, which is a very big shame. Which made me start to think, what if we do not get another update for No Man's Sky this year? That would be really unfortunate because I, and I'm sure a lot of you, were really looking forward to the Halloween update for the game. But if this does not happen, bearing in mind it is a free update, then there are certain things that I think that should be updated into the game, and those are patches. I've mentioned before that I really like the Nintendo Switch version of this game. The Nintendo Switch version is now the main way I play this game, but there are 5 things that I think that Hello Games should fix in the game if we do not get any more updates until the end of the year. So here are 5 patches that I think that they could fix in the meantime. The first one of these is the terrain manipulator. Now in the Switch version of this game, you will realize that from time to time when you use the terrain manipulator, there are some weird things that happen. The first one that's quite jarring is when you're actually trying to use the terrain manipulator, nothing happens to the terrain itself. I generally have to stop and wait for quite a few seconds, maybe 5 to 10 seconds, for the game to actually recognize that the terrain manipulator has actually been used. This isn't the biggest problem, but it's still a problem nonetheless. When you're playing the game and you're in this type of open world environment, you'd expect the environment to react to how you're interacting with it. Unfortunately, with the terrain manipulator, that doesn't always happen. When you are going through these worlds and you just need to make a tunnel, it is quite frustrating that it does not respond as quickly as it should. So hopefully this is one of the things that Hello Games could focus on if we don't get any content updates. The next 4 points are all going to be about crashes. Now I've made videos about No Man's Sky on Switch and how the crashes need to be fixed. To be clear, it doesn't seem to affect everyone, but the players it does affect, this is highly frustrating, if not infuriating, that people are losing save data because of these crashes, or they cannot progress in the game from that point onwards because the game is either stuck in a crash loop or it just consistently crashes. The first one of these that I want to talk about are freighter crashes. These freighter crashes have been in the game for a while now. And to be clear, I don't have any of these crashes in the game. I'm just really lucky that way and I'm glad. But again, the fact that people are affected by this is still infuriating to me. So the freighter crashes have been a thing for a while. If you don't know what happens, generally these crashes can happen in various ways. One way that this can happen is when you warp to a system. If a freighter is present, it will crash a player's game. Another way would be freighters are absolutely fine around you, but as soon as you go near one, the game crashes. Another example is landing or taking off from freighters. So as you can see, there are quite a few issues with freighters themselves. Some very unlucky players have all these issues put together. This would definitely be something that I'd like to see fixed as soon as possible. Next would be frigates. So the frigates are a little bit weird. The issues with frigates in the game seem to fluctuate. Sometimes, from what I've seen, if you collect any more than 3 frigates in the game will crash. Other players can have more than 5. And this is kind of linked with the freighter crashes themselves. So think about it. If you don't have freighter crashes, or even if you do, if you manage to get on your freighter and then you interact with your frigates, it can crash. These are the sort of issues that, for me, should be fixed because the freighter brought us a new type of gameplay in this game, one of which is having a base on this freighter. So the fact that this causes so many crashes is really bad. But one of the rooms you can get in this freighter is a room to control all your frigates. So if you don't have issues with your freighter, but then you start to interact with your frigates, that might crash. These things just really need to be looked at. And again, I hope they are fixed. So the next two all have to do with the most recent updates this year. Sentinel systems or planets. Some players can't interact with any Sentinel system. If they do, the game crashes. Others can go to Sentinel systems but can't land on Sentinel planets. The game will crash. We don't know why, and this is really unfortunate. Now, I did notice through my comment sections, some people were saying that this has been improved since the initial update, which is a good thing, but I'd like to see this all fixed for everyone. I think that would be really important to do so that the majority of people playing this game can all experience similar, experiences. We all want to have adventures in this game, and any crashes or issues like this just stops people from being able to have those adventures. And it's something that does affect the player because they can see other people are having these experiences, but they cannot. So these things definitely still need looking at. Lastly would be Sentinel ships themselves. So if you don't have issues with freighters or frigates or Sentinel systems or planets, you might find yourself landing on a Sentinel planet trying to find a Sentinel ship because you've seen how good they look and you really want one of these ships. Eventually, you will find one of these crash ships. Maybe, because some people can't even get to the point of finding the crash ships. So within these systems, there are the planets, and within those planets, there are the new Sentinel ships. And these Sentinel ships can be found by first finding a Sentinel camp. Where the crashes start to happen, from what I have seen, are usually around one of two things. Interacting with the Sentinel camp, or interacting with a Sentinel ship. So there are people playing this game that cannot have the new Sentinel ships, either because of the crashes that happen with the Sentinel camp, or just by a Sentinel ship being within their vicinity. And I think that's really unfair. It's something that really needs looking into, because these things were added this year and I think they should be fixed by now. So these are the 5 things, give or take, that I think need patching within No Man's Sky. And I think it would be really important for Hello Games to actually fix these things, even if they don't give us any content updates. I really do believe in what you saw in the thumbnail. Fixes over updates. Updates are very important because they have the potential to bring new players to the game, and the more players there are in the game, the more content, no doubt, that Hello Games will make for it. However, the experiences that these players might have with the game might actually have the adverse effect. If you have players buying the Nintendo Switch version of No Man's Sky and are unlucky enough to have any of these crashes in the game, it will definitely affect their gameplay. Even if they don't have these crashes and they just have the issue with the terrain manipulator, it still might have a negative impact on the game. So I do think that focusing on fixing these things, or at least minimizing the issues they cause, would be a massive benefit to this game on this platform, and I do think it would be better to have that than get a content update this year. But what do you all think? Do you agree that fixes are more important than updates, or do you think that updates are the most important thing in this game? Obviously, in a perfect scenario, we would have both. When we would get an update, there'd be a load of fixes, fixing all the issues, and then we look forward to the next update. But like I said, if we don't get any more content updates this year, I do think these patches would still be needed. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you very much again for watching. If you like what I do here, please click that like button down below. Helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see more, please click that subscribe button, as that is the only way this channel can grow. Now, I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, thanks again.